conducted in accordance with the rules and any additional conditions that are made available before the commencement of the auction. As auctioneer, I'll be indicating bidders upon request and the right to place bids on behalf of the sellers, otherwise known as vendor bids. If we don't decide to place those bids, I'll simply say vendor bid. This auction prohibits false bids, prohibits major disruptions by bidders, attempting to prevent us from bidding, and provides fines for misconduct. And last but not least, when this paperwork hits my hand and this property is deemed sold, I'll absolutely take no late bids and offers beyond that point. If you're successful here today, all that I require from you is a little 10% deposit off the full purchase price. Settlement time, you pick the time frame that suits you best. For the sellers, I've been quite flexible here today, anywhere within the vicinity of 30 through to 90 days, unless prior arrangements have been made with you beforehand. In the instance where you're bidding against vendor bids, you have two options. Do not bid against the highest vendor bid, which means that you'll decrease your chances of being successful here today, as we'll get to negotiate with multiple parties afterwards. On the positive flip side, however, is that if you do bid against the highest vendor bid, you earn yourself the exclusive right to negotiate with the sellers, and statistically speaking, you'll increase your chances of being successful here today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you've all been through this beautiful home before: 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, single garage with car space in front here, ladies and gentlemen, in the heart of Box Hill North. You're not going to find many units on this land size, ladies and gentlemen. 237 square meters of it, with a beautiful north-facing backyard, which is the perfect orientation, the best orientation that buyers are looking for in this market. Rental income, ladies and gentlemen, about $600 per week. Gas ducted heating system, air conditioning as well. You got bus services, Station Street, Dorking Road, and of course, in this location, you're right in between Westfield, Doncaster, Box Hill Central, and all its amenities. And the list goes on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you've done your due diligence here today. You've got Box Hill High within close proximity, and of course, zoning as well, and Carramure Primary School as well. So enough from me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you're not here to hear me talk. We're here to help you buy this property here today. So we're going to see a very reasonable sale.
680.
680 here first. 680 with the bidder first. Opening bidder here. Bottle of champagne here to the opening bidder at $680,000. Let's go 700 man to get you in front. $680,000. We only got 1 bottle of champagne here today. That's $680,000 now. At 680. At $680,000. Any interest here, sir? 680. 680 here on the right hand side. At 680. 680 at the moment. That's $680,000. Can I see another bid here, Jim? What do you say? At $680,000 at the moment. Searching perhaps 700 to get us in front here at $680,000. 680 at the moment with Tabinda. At $680,000 here on the right hand side. 700. Welcome to the bidding here. 2 bidders involved at $700,000 now. That's $700,000 with Grainy here. That's 700 triple O. At $700,000 at the moment. At $700,000 bids back against you to my opening bidder. Who bid at 680 here. At 720 back in front. That's $720,000 with Tabinda and a buy here at $720,000. That's $720,000 now. Bids back against you, Grainy. What do you say? Perhaps another $20,000 increment to get you back in front. 30 back in front. That's 730 now. Going up in tens at the moment at 730. That's $730,000 here. Another 10 back in front, 740 with the bidder. That's 740. 50 back in front. That's $750,000 here. Going up in increments of 10. That's 750 now. That's $750,000. Eyes on the phone. Now, we need to go in and see constructions, but if you bid, I'll go in and have a chat with the owners. That's $750,000. I think 5 years, 755, 755 bids back against you here, Grainy. That's 60 now, 760, 760 bids back against you. Tabinda, what do you say? That's 760 now. That's $760,000 now. That's 760 at the moment. 760.
65.
65 new interest here. At 765, new interest only means one thing. We're still 70 now back in front, 770. That's $770,000 with Grainy. That's 770 now. That's $770,000 here. That's 770. That's 770. At 770 now. At $770,000 bids here with Grainy. At 770 now. That's $770,000. At 770. At $770,000 now. Ladies and gentlemen, at 770 now. Any further interest or increments? I'm going to hit the pause button, seek further instructions from our vendors. I'll be back with you in just a minute. Thank you.
然后现在进屋子上口发动。个条件了。然后我现在进来就发现人还是挺多的。现在等于他们进口来发动那个外就是现在出到了这个价，发动个可以交易了。如果发动说可以交易了，哎，大家继续出，哎，除了哪个价高就搁哪个的话，那么今天就不合了。现在他们进口玩发动了。现在70几万开始玩发动。现在是应该76万多吧？现在是76万多，可能是啊？哦，77了，3万，对，77，77，对，进口文化多，是了，待会还是会拿10个回来跟你说哈。好，谢谢，说乱七八糟的。好，拜拜。
Ladies and gentlemen, sought further instructions from the vendors confirming $770,000 holding the bid here now. That's $770,000 now, buyers need to know any further interest or advances here now at $770,000. That's $770,000 here on my left hand side. That's $770,000. 75, yeah, 75 on the left-hand side at 775. That's $775,000 bids back against you over the back. 780 back in front now, 780 with Jerry here at $780,000. That's $780,000 now at 780 here. That's $780,000 bids back against you here, ma'am. At $780,000 here, holding the bid. That's $785 back in front at 785. 85 now, Jerry with 90 back in front at 790, bids back against you, ma'am, at 790 now. At 790,000, 95 at 795. At 795, we're on the market and selling, ladies and gentlemen, for no better bidding here today at 795. At 795, 800 back in front. At $800,000 back in front next to Jerry here. At $800,000 now. At $800,000 here with Jerry. $1,000, 801. At 801 here, ma'am. 801 on the market and selling for no better bidding here today. Need to know if any bids here. 802. 802 now, ones have come out. At 802. At $802,000 now. At 802. 810 back in front, bang. At 810, flexing the auction muscles here. At $810,000 now. $1,000 now, 811. At $811,000. At 811. At $811,000 with Jerry and his buyer at $811,000 now. At 811. 12. 13 back in front. $813,000 now, need to know. At 813. At $813,000 now. At $813,000 now. We can sell away here at any moment at $813,000. Need to know. At $813,000. 18, lucky number 8 here at 820 back in front at 819 with Jerry. At $819,000, bids back against you, Jim. At $819,000. 28.20 now. At 820. 21 back in front with Jerry at 821. At $821,000 with Jerry. At $821,000 here in front. At 821. At $821,000 now. At $821,000 with Jerry. And he's buy here at $821,000. At 821. At $821,000 now. Going to call 3 times. First call now at $821,000. Second opportunity here now at $821,000. Third and final call at $821,000. 25, 825. 26, 826. That was worth the wait at 826. At $826,000. Bids back against you, Jim. What do you say? At 826. At $826,000 here. At 826. At 826. At $826,000 with Jerry. 826. They're on the phone here. Perhaps they're speaking to the broker at 826 to see if they can get a bit more money here and put another bid at $826,000 here. 826 now. Buyers need to know any further interests or advance here at 826. Otherwise, we'll sell away to the highest bidder here with a $1,000 winning bid, perhaps at $826,000. At $826,000 now. First call now, 826. Second opportunity now at $826,000. Third and final call now at $826,000. All done, finished, silent. Interest rates on the way down, ladies and gentlemen. Now's the perfect time to buy at $826,000. If you miss out on this property here today, you run the risk of paying more at future auctions as the market goes up at $826,000. 826, all out, all done, finished. At 826, thank you. Thank you. Last chance, ma'am, 826. You haven't bid it here today, we'd love to see you bid. At 826. At 826. At 826, no pressure, but all eyes on you. At $826,000 at the moment. At 826. At $826,000. Just between you and Dan now. 826. 826 now. Give you 10 seconds to change your mind here. 826. Finish. Silent. At $826,000. Everyone's nodding their head. Is that a bid, ma'am? 826. 27?
1,000.
1,000. Thank you. Welcome to the bidding here. 827. 28 now back in front. $828,000. My suggestion will be go straight to 830. A lot of buyers set the limits on those round figures. So if you go to 830 first, it probably could be yours. At $828,000 here. The ones don't seem to be working at $828,000 at the moment. At 828. At $828,000 now. First call now at $828,000. Bid. Looks like you're in the box seat. Get ready to celebrate, ma'am. Get ready to miss out underbidders at $828,000. This property is selling now. First call now at $828,000. Second opportunity.